in light of the circumstances I find myself in, I wanted to share my experience and some reflections from that experience with anyone out there who's going through the same thing. So if you happen to be facing the loss of a loved one, or if you've recently lost someone, whether that's in the form of a parent or a sibling or a family member, or if it's a friend or a partner who is no longer with you for whatever reason. And my life seems to have unfolded in such a way where I've formed very strong relationships and also attachments with the people that I have those relationships with. And the relationships in and of themselves haven't caused me any harm, but it's the attachments to them that have done, because attachment is one of those things that says, well, I can only experience love if you're here. I can only experience love for you if you do certain things for me or with me or to me. And then all of a sudden we're faced with the absence of that, and well, as it feels for me right now, as it has done before in my life, it feels like my heart's being broken open again. And I've experienced that many times, more so in relationships, I would say. Every time the feeling is the same, it just comes with varying degrees of intensity. And the intensity I felt is, it's the pain of separation, it's the pain of having something taken away from you, or knowing that it's coming. And it comes with the promise, or at least the story of the promise, of never having access to that kind of depth of feeling again, which of course, in my experience, isn't true. In the moment, that doesn't really do much to relieve the pain. But the pain serves a purpose. It reminds us that we're human. It reminds us that one day everything we know and love will come to a natural end. And many of us are living in denial of this, certainly in the West, because things like death and sickness are largely isolated from us and we don't really get to see them very much. And also because we don't want to face the fact a lot of the time that we're on borrowed time. We're living lives which at some point will come to an end. And much of the suffering is in avoidance of that, or is in the desire to avoid that. And over the years, I've lost a lot of partners, or broken up with a lot of partners, let's say, and I've had the same done to me. I've lost things that I've really cared about. Some of them may, in your eyes, be considered to be meaningless, but we all have our own attachments, right? We all have our own preferences. And the one thing I've tried to do, at least at the beginning, less as time goes on, is tell myself everything's okay, when the way that I feel is anything but okay. And that doesn't mean I'm saying to myself, I'm not okay. There is a problem here that needs to be fixed. It's just in this moment I'm feeling a pain of separation. I'm feeling a reflection of a story that says I can only experience love under certain circumstances. And the more I resist it, the more life, it seems, in my experience, places me in situations where I have to experience more of it until I come to the conclusion, or I come to the realization that it's not something to be avoided, it's something to be felt. You know, pain is a teacher. Pain teaches us where not to look. It teaches us where we may be holding on when we should be letting go. It teaches us that if we avoid, we only invite more of the same in different forms. And as hard as it is in the moment to be with people knowing that those people at some point will no longer be in your life, and that can extend to anybody, it transforms the relationship that you have with them from one of complacency to one of holiness or sacredness, where we start to see that person as precious. We start to value them. And I spoke in my last video about regret. A large amount of regret that I've experienced is not telling the people that I've cared about how much I've cared about them. And maybe that could have changed some of the ways things unfolded, but I didn't. And here I am, and I'm okay with that now. I've forgiven myself. But to know that everyone and everything in our life is temporary gives us cause for appreciation. It gives us cause to say the things that we're afraid to say, even if we don't hear them back. It gives us cause to be with the moments of discomfort or displeasure, because we know in the grand scheme of things, it's just another momentary experience which at some point will pass. And I've experienced a lot of pain this week, because I know what's coming. I don't know when, but I know it will. And at times that's very unpleasant, and I feel very upset. But I'm allowing myself to be with that. I'm not trying to medicate it or run away from it or distract myself from it, because I want to face it. I want to feel it fully. Not because I have any perverse desire to do so, simply because to be unafraid of pain allows pain to arise and to pass. To be afraid of pain means to constantly hold it at the door, living in fear of its next appearance. And I don't want a life like that. And I don't wish for a life like that for anybody. So if I can come out the other side of it with a stronger sense of resolve, or an awareness that again, all things rise and fall. This is the nature of life. And it's another part of the experience, then perhaps that's something I can impart to others. And as I say, if you're going through that process, then it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel the loss of someone. There's no shame in allowing yourself to be human. And regardless of how much we're sold on the notion that life should be a constant up and never down, and that we should be eternally happy and have everything that we want, that's not the reality of it. I'd love that as much as everybody else would, of course, but that's not the reality of it. The reality of it is that sometimes we experience hardship and suffering, and sometimes we experience pain. If we allow ourselves to have those experiences, then they come and they go. But we don't invite them in, nor do we hold them in our minds and try and live in constant fear of them. And it's well said in many spiritual traditions and religious traditions that what you resist is what you attract. What you hold back is what becomes stronger. It's what you empower. So is it the fear that you hold back, or is it really the love? And then to take it a step deeper, even to remember that underneath the pain and the love that you experience as a human, there's something that is completely impartial to both of those things. And that's the absolute truth of who we all are, including you. And it's that one that's been present since birth and has observed the many stories and the many experiences, and the many changes and challenges unfolding, and notices the movement of the mind. It notices sickness and health. And it's the one which we come to know in space. And space is something we need when we're in pain. not space to go into the pain and try and understand it, or give it a meaning. I'm not implying that. I'm implying to give space around the things which appear to be uncomfortable, and also things which don't appear to make sense. I'm exercising as much kindness as I am able to in the situation I find myself in, because in the absence of that, I don't know how I'd manage. I probably would be resorting to things which aren't good for me in the long run, or I'd be living in denial. And when the inevitable happens, it will be overwhelming. And I'm not sure I really want that. And we are also much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. Because no experience has the power to kill us. No feeling has the power to kill us. It's what we do with those feelings. What we do is try and get away from them. That's what causes us harm, and it causes other people harm. And again, I'm speaking from many years of experience of doing just that, and it's not something also I wish to repeat. So don't fear your experience. Allow it. Allow it in space. Be kind to yourself. Allow those moments to unfold, and if those moments happen to be painful, know that they shall pass. And on the other side of them, it will bring insight and wisdom, which will help you meet the next challenging moment with more resolve and more resourcefulness, more awareness. I feel there's more to come on this, but for now that's probably sufficient. So, as always, I thank you for watching, and I shall see you on the next one.
他的外就表学证，新华卷啊。